Hello everybody, welcome back to C.I.K Gaming. Today I had a very interesting conversation point in view basically of why I respect Satan and all the hater comments that I got on that, followed by kind of a response video to some of the comments, because I don't think either the guys who commented or ladies, I don't think they either watched the video all the way through or they just didn't understand respect, maybe they don't understand it. So the next video was about why I don't follow that kingdom and why I chose God. And then in doing that video, it was cool. It was so nice. I was so happy that it worked out this way. I was talking about some of the character traits of people that have that kind of negative or evil drive through life, right? To steal, kill, and destroy at all times. It comes out, it comes out consistently in their actions, in the way that they live, in the way that they act and talk. And what happens to create this push-pull relationship between people who are very nice, very loving, very kind, very understanding, very quick to forgive, and people who are like that. And I was thinking about it mainly from the perspective of how do those people make it through the day, right? Really. How do they make it to, how do people like that hate every second of their day and their life? When they lay down at night, they're not happy and content with who they are and what they do and the choices they make, so on and so forth. So what is their system, essentially, for finding happiness? Well, for people like me, when I'm the most happy is when I'm kind of using my nature, that willpower that I have, to do stuff that lines up with what I want to do. Doing anything with my family, anything for myself, anything that grows into something, anything that's kind of fun or intellectual, artistic, etc. I mean, pretty much anything, any act of service, for the family or for my wife, or even for my job up until recently. Sorry. But one of the things that happened is when I was doing that video on the character traits of people who kind of follow after Satan and have that kind of steal, kill, and destroy, let's just call it this video will keep it with gaming terms. Let's just say that's their mana pool, right? So all of their abilities, so to speak, have energy that they pull from. And they have to steal, kill, and destroy to use those things. It's just part of who they are. It's ultimately that's what everything they do does. It steals, kills, and destroys. And one of the problems is, I myself have always been really quick to see this nature in somebody. But because of my super quick forgiving nature, because I love as Christ loved, so I don't hold it against them, etc., etc., I've realized that I stay in places and in relationships for far too long. To the point where it actually causes me to start the process of it's almost like this. The place that I'm at currently, that I won't be much longer, from the entire time that I've been there, and I have been on my own, thinking of being this wellspring of good vibes, of positive energy, of hard work, of consistent jokes, and just trying to uplift and make the world a better place around me. And in a way, I believe that is how we're supposed to act. The problem is that, generally speaking, that kind of attitude, at least at this job that I'm at now, has never really been well received. Let me put it that way. It doesn't matter how nice I am, how fast I am, how masterfully I do my job. None of that stuff matters. If there's ever a single mistake, it's the end of the world. End of the world. Doesn't matter how little it is, even in terms of financial. It can be literally a $2 mistake. $2. I don't even mind. I'll pay for it. I've already brought that up to the attention of the owner and things like that. But generally speaking, it's just it's this magnifying, double standard living stuff that I can't deal with anymore. And it was so crazy because as soon as I did that video about understanding the nature of people, it started to make me think about other aspects of personal life, because that's usually how these videos work. It's deep personal stuff, what I'm going through, and then kind of like a deeper thought system to it. And I've noticed, basically, we'll say for 3 years, I have been exactly the same. I've never been irritated. I've never been short patient. I've never been rude or disrespectful to any one of my coworkers, not even for a moment. And I mean, not even for a moment. I've never let any irritation creep through. I've just said yes, no, what you want me to do, I'll do this. You know, I've just worked. And I have constantly, over the course of working at this new job, well, it's not a new job, but working there for about 3 years, I have been put down, disrespected, ignored, made fun of, belittled, etc. I mean, just everything you can imagine. And that all happens, literally, until I make that video. And then I decide in my mind that I'm leaving. I'm going to find a new job. I have to move on. I can't deal with it anymore. And I said that because apparently everybody there is such a good little clique of people. Like, they're so happy and they're so friendly to one another. But just not with me. And that's totally fine. I get that. I have a lot of character traits that a lot of people can't stand. So recently I've just been very quiet. I just put my head down. I just do my job. I smile. I try to be as helpful as I can. But it's like as soon as I made the decision in my heart and my mind, not really like F this place kind of vibe, but more like I'm not wanted here. I'm not needed here. I need to move on. As soon as I felt that way and thought that way, and when I say the entire, I mean the entire atmosphere up here shifts to the point where it's the most awesome, warm, family-oriented, friendly, best friend vibes ever. The day after I decide to quit. Now that's weird to me. That's very weird to me, because I've noticed that. And now that I've noticed it, I can't unnotice it. So I'm like, holy crap, this is a trap. This is a trap. Like, these people have been rude to me for 3 years. And when I finally decide to quit and move on, they all of a sudden become happy, but none of them know that I'm going to quit. Like, none of them know. So it's one of those things. It's like, I've seen this. And I was thinking about it from kind of the idea of like, what is their life like and how do they find happiness? And I was thinking about it from the perspective of like, I wonder if these kinds of people really are like energy vampires. Do you know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is it's kind of like a perspective, like imagine if, if somebody is, I'm not going to say possessed, but let's just say there's evil stuff working through them, right? Well, that evil stuff is obviously going to be happy when they do something. So it's one of those things where it's like, if they're being negative and rude and mean, that's how they lift themselves up. That's how they make themselves feel better, because the evil force that's making them do it is essentially letting them feel happy, right? So the evil force lets them feel good about themselves when they do bad to others. And kind of like on a subconscious or like innate level, people will understand this and realize it, and that's how they can go through life. And it wasn't like I didn't plan on it. I wasn't like taking notes. I didn't set this up as any one of my social experiments, but I just noticed this. I decide, after years, that no matter how much I've tried to do, I've never really fit into this clique of a family place, and I'm overworked, I'm underpaid, but more importantly that, I'm very consistently disrespected, and I seem to actually cause people stress because I don't stress out the way that they do, which apparently comes off as I don't care. It's like, no, I'm just better at you than you are. I'm better at this job than you are, so I can do it without being upset, because I've been through a lot in life. This is not hard. And I think it actually bothers them when I don't mess up, when I move too fast, when I'm too happy. Simply because, when you work in bottom of the barrel places, there's like a culture there, and they all kind of fit in if they're losers. Like, they all fit in if they're a loser. But if you're like the guy who's going somewhere, you absolutely do not fit in these, around these losers. And even if you're trying to be nice and to be friendly, it's almost like it doesn't matter. It's almost like it doesn't matter. It's like, they're losers, you're not. You have potential, they have none. This is what they want to do for the rest of their life, and you get in the way of their happiness in a way. Like, something else I've noticed is about being fit in a place where ambition is not really there. That is like a really quick way for people to not like you, especially as like a fit nerd gamer. Oh my goodness, it's like, oh, you played in the MLG. Oh, you used to fight professionally. Oh, you married to a super thick, beautiful black woman. Oh, you've got a bunch of children. Oh, you're now posting content and trying to become a content creator. Oh, you're a Christian too, and you know Bible verses and theology better than most pastors, to the point where you know where they misquote it in the middle of church sermons. And it's like all that, you know, all the stuff that I can, and not to mention intelligence and, oh God, biology, biochemistry, health, fitness, nutrition, world history, just like all these different things that I've studied and I've learned, and I've just like, you know, to me is all really simple, and nobody else seems to understand it or see it or have ever thought about it. It's just totally fine. Like, it's totally fine. I'm kind of weird like that. Like, I get that. I get that I'm a very unique individual who doesn't fit into the norm. But I'll never understand how somebody like me, that's happy and nice and will never do you any wrong, literally. Like, I've never wronged any of my friends. I've never done anything deserving of like a middle finger or anything. Somehow I've always been in the middle of these shitstorms that never seem to end until I get ready to leave. It's happened at like 2 jobs, and I always watch, because usually when I leave, the job implodes. Sometimes the business is shut down. That's happened twice. And I can just see the peace leave when I leave, which might be a little bit of maybe it's just a perspective, because I wouldn't want to say it like that way, like I'm some kind of prophet of God or anything. But when I believe in God, and I believe we're supposed to be lights on a candlestick, you know what I mean? We're supposed to spread that light with everybody around us in the most honest and meaningful way possible. And how much better than to work in any industry with grace, with love, happiness, compassion. Never letting your temper flare, never letting a moment of disrespect come because you have respect for your coworkers. And I realize that my coworkers don't have that for me, but they have it for each other. And I realized that pretty much immediately after doing my video. And I wasn't even mad or sad necessarily. I don't want to bore you with the details, but it was so nice to see it clear as day. Because the only reason that they like me there is because I work circles around everybody else. And because I can work circles around everybody else, I can do multiple people's job and only be paid for one, and never get the bonus, never get the balanced scale, so to speak. And I've just allowed myself to do that for a very long time. And in the process of that, what I've noticed is I'm very slowly becoming more tired. It really feels like they're energy vampires, and all my good vibes are being sucked out of me at work. And to the point where I come home and I'm not able to fully enjoy being at the house with my children, and, converse a lot with my wife and have fun and do stuff like that. It's forced, because it's like I've been drained all day, and not from like the job, because jobs are mundane and simple. Usually I'm ambitiously excited about thinking about my next project or task or something else that I want to do, and I motivate myself throughout the day with ambitions and fantasies and cool things that I want to do, builds in video games, things I want to do with the family. But like recently, and the shift has been so cool, because what's happened is literally from the second that I made that decision, like the day before I made this decision, I was totally happy at work, and everybody else was really stressed out. This is why This is kind of the deduction that I'm coming to, or the observation that I'm making. Everybody was stressed out. Stressed out, rude, mean, just angry. Nothing works out. And then as soon as I make up my mind that I'm leaving this place, it shifts. Now I'm the one at work that's, I'm not going to say I'm stressed out, but I'm over this place. I can't be here anymore. I don't want it. I can't stand it. It doesn't pay me enough. I work too hard. And everybody else in this place is best friend family vibes. And I've just noticed it. So I guess I just wanted to make this video to tell y'all that if you're going through some stuff like that, if you see stuff like that at your job or at a place of work or something, you know, maybe not be terrified to leave, especially as a Christian. Because a lot of the times as a Christian, right, you'll stay in these places to try to be that wellspring of love, to try to be that constant joy of happiness for everybody else. But you're not wanted there. If everybody there hates you, then what'll happen is when you leave, they'll be better. They'll be happier. But not because you mess anything up. Well, I mean, we do mess it up, but we mess it up in the way that in the movie Fight Club, Marla messes it up for the main character. She doesn't do anything to him necessarily, but she's just living an honest life. A happy life. She just wants to come here because it seems fun and she's bored. But she's honest about it. The honesty that she lives her life with is a reflection of the lie that Jack tells himself, and he can't sleep anymore. And that's basically the start. That's what the whole point of the movie is. And I call this, because I've had this talk with my wife many years ago, I call this the Marla effect. Is when you live your life truthfully and honestly, regardless of what that means, or specifically exactly how that looks, it really does mess up everybody around you. Everybody. Messes them up. It'll cause people to hate you for absolutely no reason. I thought, growing up, that if I was nice and I was respectful and I was polite and I would do anything for anybody, then people would like me. But that's just not the fucking case, man. People can't stand you sometimes just when you're nice and when you're happy, when you're awesome and you got all this stuff together. They can't stand it. So I just made the decision to move on with life. Kind of to let the dead bury the dead kind of thing. Because how much longer do I want to stay at a place where it's not even about the work and it's not even about the disrespect, but it's more about I don't fit in with them. And I'm going to keep messing up their vibes and their delusions and their systems as long as I'm there. So it's like the best thing that I can do is leave. And in the process of leaving, they'll have to replace me with somebody else. And when they do that, they'll have a new scapegoat. They'll have a new reason why everything sucks. They won't have to self-reflect and understand that their actual business practices are pretty garbage and the work is too hard. There's no off days. The stress is too high, and they're too rude to each other, especially to new people, so they'll never keep any help. But I'm so excited to leave. I don't even care if I go to a grocery store and just work as a baggage checkout person. I don't care. But I can never go back to the food industry. I'd rather get back into fighting than go back to the food industry. I'd rather get beat up all the time and potentially lose my life than go back to fighting. Fighting food. That's what I call it. But you guys have a wonderful night. Enjoy some of that new Albion content. Posted some arenas tonight. I'm getting ready to do some more. I swapped from Call of Duty to Albion for a couple days. Just because I got burnt out on Albion. But y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see you in the next video.